Okay, so before I start my video presentation, unfortunately my microphone uh, couldn't capture the audio well from my laptop, so I'm gonna have to record this way, the PowerPoint. Anyway, today I'm gonna talk about Taoism, and in order to understand what Taoism is, first we have to go back into history, and we have to uh, look and learn about the origin story. And the origin story starts with a man named Lao Tzu. So, who was Lao Tzu? Lao Tzu was a Chinese philosopher during the 6th century BCE Zhou China, and is famously known as the founder of the philosophical thought known as Taoism or Taoism. We have evidence of his formulated philosophical thoughts in which he wrote known as a Tai Te Ching. It is believed that Lao Tzu was a very wise man who was born around 604 BC in the village of Karen, which is located in southeast China. Known as having a legendary birth, it is supposedly said that his mother witnessed a meteor pass by, and when given birth to Lao Tzu against a plum tree, he was already a white-haired old man and immediately became known as a sage. And he was named Lao Tzu, which in Chinese translates to old master or old teacher. It is said that Lao Tzu worked in the state of Chu as a curator or record keeper of all types of ancient Chinese texts, and even sacred texts as well in a royal Zhou dynasty court. It is during this period in which he began to preach about his philosophical thoughts and ideologies, and to gain disciples. Confucius, another Chinese sage of younger age, supposedly met with Lao Tzu and was a student whom he admired and began his interest in learning philosophy. Now, Lao Tzu did not write down his philosophical thought known as the Tai Te Ching until after he leaves the royal Zhou dynasty court for reasons of it being morally corrupt. On his isolated journey westward away from Zhou China and traveling on a water buffalo, he comes across a frontier official whose name is Yin Shi, who recognizes Lao Tzu and asks him if he can write down his philosophical thoughts. This written document that has over 5,000 Chinese characters becomes known as the Tai Te Ching. After this, Lao Tzu continues his journey and is said to not ever be seen again by the people in that time period. So, all of this story of Lao Tzu was granted to us by a guy named Sima Qian, which is this guy. So the short biography and personal short story of Lao Tzu, written in the Shiji, or historical records in translation, by the author Sima Qian in 85 BCE, who is considered the first Chinese historian, is important because he grants us the origin story of Lao Tzu and fundamentally the origin story of Taoism or Taoism. So, what is Taoism? What is it? Well, Taoism or Taoism is an ancient Chinese philosophy and a religion that revolves around the idea of following the Tao or the way in order to be content and to live in harmony with nature and people. The universal cosmic order of the Tao can be explained in the primary source of the Tai Te Ching or the Tao Te Ching. It's the same thing. The Tao is not necessarily a thing or a deity or a god. It is an infinite, all-embracing, universal, cosmic-like aura that is within us and can be achieved and attained by everyone and everything. As I've said earlier, the Tai Te Ching is a book that holds the fundamental ideas and philosophical beliefs of Taoism or Taoism. To simplify the name of the written historical document or the book, the Tao or Tao means the way or the way ahead. The Te or the Te means righteousness or virtue. And finally, the Qing or the Jing literally means doctrine or book. This can directly translate to the title of the book, which would be the righteous book of the way. Now, over the course of history, two branches of Taoism have developed. That is, the philosophy of the Tao and the religion of the Tao. In the religion aspect of Taoism, Lao Tzu is seen as the supreme divine being, whereas in the philosophical branch, he is only seen as a sage. The practice of worshipping ancestors in Lao Tzu developed and is a known practice in the religious branch of Taoism. Regardless of what our own individual beliefs are, we can learn a lot from Taoism's philosophical ideologies. For example, the Taoists believe that one should be like water and flow with people and things naturally, and to not force things but let things happen instinctively. According to the Tai Te Ching itself, the master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. From this, we can learn that Lao Tzu states that we are the masters of our own lives, and that it is up to us to embrace everyone and everything, and that it is only then in which we can truly start to live the way or the Tao.